They didn't just want my boat ramp. They wanted control of the entire lake, one property at a time. So when the HOA board tried to legally seize land that wasn't theirs, they had no idea they were about to lose access to the water forever. This is that story. Before we go any further, I want to know where you're watching HOA Untold Truths from. Drop your country in the comments. I love seeing how far these stories reach. And if you haven't subscribed to HOA Untold Truths yet, this is your last chance. Hit that subscribe button now, because the next story only gets crazier from here. My name doesn't matter for this story. What matters is a strip of land my grandfather bought in 1968, long before the lake community around it ever existed. Back then, it was just woods, water, and a dirt path leading down to the shoreline. He built a small wooden ramp so our family could launch boats without dragging them through the mud. Simple, practical, ours. Fast forward 50 years, and the woods around that lake turned into a gated community of nearly 400 homes, all wrapped under one HOA. My property, the one with the boat ramp, sat right in the middle of it, like an island of independence surrounded by manicured lawns and matching mailboxes. For years, this wasn't a problem. I paid my property taxes. I wasn't part of the HOA because my grandfather's deed predated the community by decades, and my land was never legally absorbed into it. But new residents don't read history. They see a private boat ramp on a shared lake and assume it belongs to the community. And a new HOA board, hungry for control and a new amenity to advertise in their brochures, decided my ramp was exactly what they needed. What started as friendly small talk at the mailbox slowly turned into something else entirely. Comments about shared lake access. Questions about community resources. I brushed it off. I had no idea I was already being targeted. It started with a letter. Official HOA letterhead, certified mail, my name spelled correctly for once. The letter claimed that my boat ramp fell within a shared lake easement and that, per community bylaws, all lake access points were to be maintained and controlled by the Homeowners Association for safety and liability purposes. Translation: they wanted my property. I called the number listed. A woman with a very practiced customer service voice told me the board had voted to formally request I transfer maintenance rights of the ramp to the HOA. Not sell it, not lease it, just hand it over. I laughed. Then I got angry. I pulled my grandfather's original deed from a fireproof box in my closet. The same deed that had survived 2 moves and a house fire. My land, my ramp, no shared easement language anywhere on it. I sent a polite but firm response. No. 2 weeks later, a second letter arrived. This one wasn't polite. It cited a community-wide lake access agreement, claimed my ramp was the only viable entry point on that side of the lake, and stated the board was prepared to pursue legal remedies if I didn't cooperate. They were bluffing. Or so I thought. What I didn't know yet was that this HOA board had done this before to other homeowners and won. They were counting on me folding, just like the others had. I wasn't going to fold. Here's where it gets interesting, because what the board didn't know was about to blow up in their faces in a way none of us saw coming. I decided to attend the next HOA board meeting, not to negotiate, to listen. What I heard in that meeting changed everything. The board president stood up and told nearly 200 homeowners that the association was finalizing plans to take over all lake access points around the community, starting with mine, to build a resort-style amenity for residents. Docks, a clubhouse, boat rentals, big plans funded by a special assessment fee every homeowner would be forced to pay. They hadn't just targeted me. They were planning to seize control of the entire shoreline, one property at a time, using vague bylaw language and pressure tactics. But there was one thing the board had completely overlooked, something buried in county records that would flip this entire situation upside down. I found it 3 days later. I spent a weekend at the county recorder's office pulling every document connected to that lake, deeds, easements, water rights filings going back to the 1950s. What I found was staggering. My grandfather hadn't just owned the boat ramp. He owned the underlying water access rights to nearly 40% of that lake's usable shoreline, rights that had been quietly grandfathered in when the state redrew water management boundaries decades ago. When the HOA developer built the community in the 1990s, they never actually purchased those water rights. They assumed they came with the land. They didn't. In other words, the HOA didn't own legal access to the lake at all. They had been operating under the assumption of access, using shared docks and paths that technically ran through easements tied to my family's original property. My ramp wasn't just my ramp. It was, legally, one of the only fully documented, legitimate access points to that entire lake for the whole neighborhood. I sat in my car in that parking lot and read the water rights filing 3 times to make sure I wasn't misunderstanding it. I wasn't. The HOA board, in their rush to seize my small wooden ramp, had triggered a title review that exposed a decades-old gap in their own legal right to the lake. Their aggressive letters, their threats of legal action, their public announcement at that meeting, all of it created a paper trail proving they knew my property held special access rights and tried to take them anyway. I hired a real estate attorney that same week. She read through everything and said something I'll never forget. They just handed you the exact leverage you needed. Now I just had to decide how to use it. I requested to speak at the next board meeting. They said yes, probably assuming I was there to negotiate a surrender. I wasn't. I stood in front of nearly 300 residents and laid it out plainly. I read directly from the county water rights filing. I explained that the HOA, as owned communal lake access, the docks, the paths, the shared areas they'd been using for 30 years, ran through easements legally tied to my grandfather's property, not the other way around. You could hear the room shift. I explained that my attorney had already filed a formal notice, and that continuing to use those access points without a proper legal agreement with me could now be considered trespassing on documented private water rights. The board president tried to interrupt, claiming this was a misunderstanding and pushing back on the filing's validity. I calmly handed the moderator copies of the county documents for everyone in the room to review. Then I said the line I'd been waiting to say, "You didn't just try to take my boat ramp. You accidentally exposed that this entire community doesn't have secured legal access to the lake it was built around." Silence. Then chaos. Homeowners immediately started asking the board how this happened, why nobody caught it during due diligence, and what it meant for their own property values. The board president, red-faced, adjourned the meeting early. I didn't offer to fix it for free. I offered one thing, a formal paid easement agreement on my terms, with protections written by my attorney, guaranteeing the community legal access to the lake through my property permanently, but only if they dropped every claim against my ramp for good. It took 4 months of legal back and forth, but eventually the HOA board had no real choice. Without a signed easement agreement from me, every dock, path, and shared access point the community had used for decades was legally unsecured. Homeowners were furious, not at me, but at the board that triggered the entire mess by trying to seize property that was never theirs to take. 3 board members resigned before the next election. The HOA was forced to pay for the full legal easement agreement, plus my attorney's fees, plus a formal written acknowledgement that my property, including the ramp, remained fully private. Today, that community still has lake access, but it exists because I allowed it, on paper, with my name on every renewal. My grandfather's little wooden ramp is still standing, a little weathered, a little worn, but still exactly where he built it. And every single year, when that HOA easement renewal paperwork lands in my mailbox, I think about how close they came to losing access to the entire lake, all because they underestimated one homeowner with a fireproof box full of very old, very real documents.